All right, testing, testing, testing. All right, so we are live. So what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. My name is Mark Collins Jr. and I am a photographer and creative. In this video, I'm actually going to do a little something different today. So I'm going to pretty much discuss the first quarter of how much me and my wife has made for our business pertaining to photography and videography services. So I know in the channel, I've pretty much been discussing a lot of content creation and different ways on how you can content create on a budget by simply just having the certain things that you have, like your cell phone, your budget cameras, etc. So I'm gonna kind of like switch gears a little bit and actually talk about, the business side of, running a business. I'm gonna be explaining on how we run this business on a part-time basis. If this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any videos moving forward. So I'm going to get right into it. So to start off, me and my wife, we actually started the business back in January. We got everything established late last year in 2025, but we were able to officially start in January of 26. And, from that point in time, we actually started, getting gigs and everything from February up until, I would say towards the middle, going towards the end of April. So now we are in the middle of quarter two, but I'm only going to discuss quarter one numbers on a part-time basis, and then I can kind of give you an idea as far as the equipment that I used, how I was able to maneuver, between budget to intermediate gear, and certain challenges I had to kind of deal with. So to start off, I'm actually going to just go on the website. I'm actually going to pretty much look at my numbers, and I'm going to explain, each charge, why I charged the prices that I was able to charge, or why we were able to charge the certain prices that we were able to charge for each service, and certain tactics on how this will help us moving forward. So when we go into the next year or even into the next quarter, we kind of know what to expect and what to change. So gonna actually log in right now. As far as certain metrics, we use Square. So we use Square for pretty much how we were able to collect our revenue based on like the certain gigs that we were able to get. Now, if there's a different platform that we can use that's a lot easier to use, then you can let me know down in the comments. But just based off of what I know, I just use Square. I don't have an issue using it, but they do take out a lot of fees when it comes to trying to transfer money. So if there's something that doesn't necessarily take a lot of fees and I can still use it, then, let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and just log in real quick and we'll see how everything looks. I'm still trying to get used to this as well, so I'm gonna try and get used to this platform overall. So I'm gonna go over to the sales summary. All right, so I'm gonna try to go from, see if we can, I'm trying to filter it to where I can go strictly just for one quarter opposed to the whole entire year. So I'm going to go based off of that and maybe that will work. So we'll say April 31st, 26. Oh no, actually. Okay. All right. So now, mind you, again, this is on a part-time basis. So I'm just really just going to break everything down as far as what we were able to charge, why we charge what we charge, and then a certain type of equipment that I used based off of the event that I was shooting. So between April 1st and April 30th, we grossed well, the net sales were $864. Now on a part-time basis, you may feel like that's not a lot because you really, with 2 gigs alone, even if you're just starting, as a beginner, you can make more than $800. But mind you, me and my wife, we do also work 9 to 5s. So that's why we're doing this on a part-time basis. And, just to have that on a part-time basis, to kind of get a feel for what we can get into to see what works and what doesn't work, I feel like that's a plus. So to make, almost $1,000 in a quarter, I mean, it could be better, but at the end of the day, we're just starting out. We're just trying to get our feet wet and trying to see what works and what doesn't work. So I feel like this is a win. I feel like it's better than making $0. So I'll take it. Now the breakdown of that 864, we will look into that. We had a total of 6 orders within that. And again, this is just showing what we were able to do, electronically. That's not including if we got any type of cash transactions or anything like that. So if you include the cash transactions, we made more than $864. But I'm only going to go based off of what we made, strictly through web transactions. So that includes any type of consultations, that includes deposits, that includes any type of invoicing that we sent. So we're going to date all the way back. Our first pretty much gig started in towards like the end of February of 2026. I was able to do some headshots. And this was just, more of a seed from a client that we received. This was just us just doing the shoot, not really doing the official shoot or doing any type of editing. So this was just more of, hey, thank you for doing this last minute shoot for us. I just want to be able to give you something. So based off of this, we were able to make $150. Because at the time I really didn't know what to charge for this particular shoot. We had prices down, but we didn't really have anything solidified yet. So they were able just to give us $150, and then with the edits, they were going to pay for the edits on top of that. So we were able to get that. And then on the 25th, we actually did this prior to us getting this payment, but it was a half a payment for a Valentine's Day shoot that we were able to do for a client. This was like our first time doing a in-house, type of Valentine's Day shoot. It was something very, very simple, something quick, just something to kind of like allow us to have the experience of actually doing a Valentine's Day shoot or some type of theme shoot. So it was half of a payment. Based off of that was $37.50. I know to a lot of people these prices may seem really, really low, but again, if you're just starting out and you're just trying to figure it out, you're just trying to figure out like what works, what doesn't work. So we're just charging based off of, the type of clientele that we're willing to work with, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what we like, what we don't like, what takes time, what we feel like we can just get in and get out. So something like this was just very simple, but we were able to get the experience. So I'm able to learn based off experience opposed to just charging what I feel like I want to charge. So there's that. Now on the 26th, that following day, I was able to get some edits done for the headshots. And then based off of that headshot, I was able to get paid $175 for that. So we got $150 just for the deposit, or just them being able to just pay us what they feel as they want to pay us just by taking the time out and scheduling the headshots. Then they pay us an additional $175 for those edits. And based off of the edits, we were able to give them. So we got $175 off of that plus the $150. So we were able, if my math is right, we were able to get $225 out of that. So that was, actually, I'm sorry. We were able to get, actually, I lied. Sorry. We got $250 because we got tipped $25 on top of the overall price. So we got $200 for that overall, for the, deliverables plus, just due to the customer service. So we got that. And then when you add that with, the $150, that's actually $350. my math is way off today. I'm sorry, y'all. So we got $350 in totality from that one customer. So to do headshots, to do the edits, the amount of pictures that they were able to get, we were able to get $350 in totality. So we were like, okay, we could work with this. We do also charge for consultations for a half hour. We were able to get that. We didn't get any like bookings in March, so in April we were able to get a booking and we got a consultation done. They were able to give us a $25. We charged $25 for the consultation, so we got paid for that. So we were able to get that plus, an additional tip of $5. So we got $30 of a consultation fee. And then we got another consultation fee for $25 for another event back in the 23rd of April. So we were able to get 2 events secured. One event was going to be for the middle of, I believe it was in May. The other one was going to be towards the end of April. So we were able to book ahead of time on top of just getting paid, basically to secure those payments. So even though $25 may seem a little bit low pertaining to the consultations, we were able to get that just so we can get some type of booking, get some type of, communication to understand like what we're getting into. So that was a blessing as well. And then we actually got paid for the services for one of the consultations, and that came out to be $447. With that particular event, it was a corporate event for a church. So we were able to do that, and we got paid based off of those services plus the deliverables. And that's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, that kind of breaks everything down for the first quarter. So even though we kind of started in February to kind of get everything going, we didn't have our first gig until towards the end of February. And then we pretty much didn't have anything in March, but we set everything up to where we will have time to get things ready for April. So we're able to get that. So within the 2-month span, we were able to make, that's not including the cash deposits, but with these POS transactions, we were able to get a total of $864. So with the equipment that I was able to use, I had a Canon R7. I still use that to this day. We were able to invest into some lenses. So I did get an EF adapter, and then we got some EF lenses with that as well. So we were able to do that to where we can be a little versatile when it comes to getting certain focal lengths and not really spending a huge, a bulk ton of money, on expensive lenses, even though it will help in the long run once we do get them. But I feel as just being able to kind of be a little bit versatile and getting the certain type of equipment that we need in order to get the job done, that what was important. So we were able to, again, get a couple more lenses. I was able to buy another strobe light flash. So I got an 8200. So I was able to get that as well. And now I have 2 8200s. I have an 85 mil. I have an adapter so where I can use EF lenses. And now I'm able to pretty much use that for now, for my future events. And then as the income increases, then we can start to get into that more expensive, more of an investment when it comes to certain lenses or body cameras. So moving forward, my next investment, I would like to get a second camera. I was able to do a wedding for a client that we know personally, and it was our first time doing the wedding, and we were able to pretty much get everything that we needed done. And it was my first time actually ever using a full frame camera, in real time. So I truly understand why people use full frame now, and I love it. So my first investment will go into a full frame body. I'm either going to get the Canon R8, or I'm going to get the Canon RP or the Canon R. So those are going to be the top 3 that I will look into that's affordable for me to buy pertaining to a body. And we're going to pretty much stick with the full frame game moving forward. So that's pretty much what I'm going to, focus on. Me and my wife, we're definitely going to invest into another Canon full frame camera, or we might get a Blackmagic. However, so we're going to look into it. We're going to see what we're going to get. But in the comments, what do you feel as is a best full frame camera to use if you're on a budget? You know, if you're with Canon, or if you're with Sony, or if you're with Nikon, or whoever, what's a good budget full frame camera to use? So I'm looking for some type of advice here. But if it's something that you guys recommend, let me know in the comments. But pretty much that's going to be the end of this video. Pretty much with this video, I just really want to kind of break down and let you guys know that, you know, it's pretty simple and pretty easy just to get started when it comes to running, entrepreneurship type business or running a business in general. It's not the easiest, but it is possible, whether you're doing it full time or part time. And I feel as, when it comes to, what I'm doing for this channel, I pretty much want, my audience to understand that no matter what type of gear that you have, whether it's budget based or whether it's intermediate or advanced, you can still get work done. You just have to be able to put the work in. You have to be able to market. You have to understand your audience. You have to understand what you like to do and what your strengths are when it comes to, running this type of business. So moving forward, on this channel, I pretty much want to show you guys my behind the scenes on a certain type of gear that I use. All the gear that I've pretty much been explaining to you guys in previous videos, I'm pretty much going to put to the test and actually show you guys in real time on how to use this type of gear, so you can know that it's actually possible to get good results and to still make the income that you want to be able to make. But also within the same time, you're also able to save money and you're able to do it, at the, strength and the budget that you want to be able to do it in. So again, it's possible. You just have to be able to have faith and actually put in the work. So if that's something, again, that you guys are interested in, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.